you know that there are things you see every day but only the billionaires can actually afford? From $600 coffee beans made from animal poop to a pen that costs more than your monthly paycheck, the list is crazy. So, here are the 10 everyday things that only the richest can afford. Coffee that costs more than rent. Your morning coffee might cost a few dollars, but for the ultra-rich, it's a completely different experience. They drink Kopi Luwak, also known as civet coffee. What makes it special? It comes from civet poop. Let me tell you how it works. The civet, a small animal, eats coffee cherries, and the beans pass through its digestive system. After that, people collect the beans from its droppings, clean them, and turn them into one of the most expensive coffees in the world. A single pound of this coffee can cost up to $600, and just one cup is sold from $100 to $500. To put that into perspective, for the price of one cup of Kopi Luwak, you could buy around 100 lattes from Starbucks. But it doesn't matter when you're making $6,000 per second like Jeff Bezos. Toothbrushes worth more than cars. Most people buy a toothbrush for just a few dollars, but for the rich, brushing their teeth is a luxury experience. Instead of using plastic toothbrushes, they go for gold and diamond encrusted versions. Some luxury toothbrushes are made from titanium and gold. You can get a titanium toothbrush for $4,200 and the gold-plated one for $7,000. Luxury brands like Raynast market these as dental jewelry. But here's the thing, they don't actually clean your teeth any better than a regular toothbrush. Still, when you have billions, using a simple plastic toothbrush just doesn't feel right. $5 million toilets. You thought you heard it all. No girl, we're just getting started. These rich guys didn't come to play. If they're taking a poop, it has to be worth $5 million. In fact, the world's most expensive toilet isn't in a palace, it's floating in space. NASA spent $23 million to build a high-tech toilet for astronauts. It's designed for zero gravity and allows astronauts to use the bathroom in space without any issues. Back on Earth, luxury toilets are just as extravagant. Jeff Bezos, the billionaire behind Amazon, reportedly owns a $5 million gold-plated toilet. Some high-end homes even have diamond-studded bidets. So, if you thought your smart toilet with heated seats was fancy, you better think again. Pens that cost more than a Lamborghini. A regular pen costs about $1, right? However, a Montblanc, one of the more premium brands, can cost $1,500. Out of curiosity, what exactly will anyone be writing with this pen? Their future? Well, it's none of my business, so I'll just stick to giving you the gist. Actually, one of the most expensive pens in the world is the Aurora Diamante, priced at $1.5 million. It's the ultimate writing accessory for those who have everything. This pen is made from solid platinum and is covered in diamonds. And you know what's interesting? It writes just the same as a regular $2 pen. But when you have millions to spare, it's not about how well it writes, it's about the statement it makes. Sunglasses worth a house. When you put on Ray-Bans, you think that's one of the best there is. Meanwhile, some sunglasses cost more than an entire 4-bedroom house. In fact, luxury brands have taken eyewear to another level, turning them into rare, handcrafted accessories that only billionaires can afford. For starters, Dolce & Gabbana created gold-framed sunglasses that sell for $380,000. That's not all. Cartier also sells the Pontes sunglasses for $159,000. What in God's name makes these sunglasses so expensive? Well, it's definitely not just about some brand name. They're carefully handcrafted, mostly decorated with diamonds, and made in limited quantities. While most people buy sunglasses to protect their eyes, the ultra-rich see them as status symbols. When money is not an issue, even the simplest fashion items become extravagant displays of wealth. Now wait, if you enjoyed this glimpse into luxury, then you can hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up while you're at it. Thank you. Sneakers that cost more than a Ferrari. Now, it's normal to see sneakers as just comfortable everyday shoes, but billionaires see them as million-dollar investments. Now, one of the most expensive pairs ever made is the solid gold OVO by Air Jordans, valued at $2 million. These sneakers aren't just rare, they're literally made of solid gold. Another legendary pair is the Nike Moon shoe, which sold for $437,500 at an auction. Only 12 pairs were ever made, making them one of the rarest sneakers in history. Even Kanye West's Yeezys made headlines when a pair was auctioned for $1.8 million. Let's just say the amount of money used in buying some of these sneakers can get you 10 Teslas or even a house on the beach. Private jet Uber. Even first-class travel isn't good enough for those who live and breathe in luxury. Instead of waiting in airport lounges or dealing with commercial flights, they have access to private jet memberships that give great convenience and, of course, luxury. With some services costing $250,000 per year, members can book unlimited flights on private jets. These flights are available on demand, often within just 3 hours. Companies like FlexJet, NetJets, and JetSmarter operate like Uber, but for billionaires. So, the money guys can just order a jet instead of hailing a car to avoid crowded airports and long security lines. $55 million watches. Owning a luxury watch is nothing unusual, but some watches are so expensive they cost more than an entire mansion. The Graf Hallucination, one of the most expensive watches in the world, is valued at $55 million. It's covered in 110 carats of rare diamonds, making it as much as a piece of jewelry as it is a timepiece. Another record-breaking watch is the Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime, which sold for $31 million. You could be wondering why people buy them. After all, despite their eye-watering price tags, these watches still tell time just like a $10 Casio. But for the billionaires, it's not about practicality, it's more about owning a masterpiece. Floating beds that cost more than a supercar. For a good night's sleep, the wealthy go to extremes. Imagine sleeping on a bed that literally floats. This type of bed uses magnetic fields to hover above the ground, creating a weightless sleeping experience. Designed by architect Yanya Ruzinars, this one-of-a-kind bed comes with a price tag of $1.6 million. For that price, you could buy a supercar, but for some, the feeling of floating in luxury is worth every penny. The $6,000 burger. When someone wants a meal that's both filling and affordable, a cheeseburger is often the first option that comes to mind. However, some chefs have taken this simple fast food item and turned it into a luxury dish for billionaires. One of the most extravagant burgers ever made is the Golden Boy, created by Robert Jan de Veen at De Dalton's Diner in the Netherlands. This burger, named for its gold leaf bun, transforms something as common as a cheeseburger into a gourmet experience that costs more than a high-end watch. We're talking about gold-plated Wagyu truffle-infused diamond-dusted burgers sold at $6,000. While most people hesitate to spend a few extra dollars on guacamole, the wealthy see food as another way to showcase their status with every bite. Now, apart from spending huge amounts of money on coffee, toilets, and burgers, these billionaires don't joke with gifts. We're talking about $4.8 billion yachts, solid gold bathtubs, and even actual castles as presents. When billionaires give gifts, they don't just wrap up a fancy watch or a designer bag, they go all out in ways that most of us can't even imagine. Curious to see how just crazy these gifts can get? Well, smash the subscribe button to find out the most expensive gifts ever given, and how the super rich show off their wealth in the most jaw-dropping ways.